So we have, it says solve by adding, and we have t, need my pencil to work here, t minus 45 is less than or equal to 13.
Oh, I remember
Right?
these.
You remember these?
Oh.
So that,
It's like the little shark mouth with the line under it.
the little shark mouth with the line under it. So it just means you treat it very similar as an equal sign. It's an equation, but it's an inequality. So if we have t minus 45 is less than or equal to 13, how do we get t by itself? What do we have to do?
45.
Plus 45. And whatever you do to one side of an equation or an
Do it to
inequality,
the other.
you gotta do it to the other. So we have t minus 45 is less than or equal to 13. We're going to add 45 to both sides. So the negative 45
cancels out.
and the positive 45 cancels out, which becomes t minus 0. You don't really need to write that. You could just say t, right? And then you still keep your less than or equals to. You pull that down just like an equal sign, and then you have 13 plus 45 is 58. Now if you want to check your answer, you could say, okay, 58 minus 45, is that less than or equal to 13? And it is. 58 minus 45 is 13, right? Okay, all right. Let's do the check your progress one. It says solve inequalities. So we have 22 is greater than m minus 8. So we want to get m by itself. What do we got to do? Plus 8 both sides. So these are pretty simple algebra problems, aren't they? Just involving the addition property of opposites. So we have 22 plus 8 is 30, is greater than m. Right? Is that right? Yep. Okay. So if we checked our answer, we would say 22 has to be greater than 30 minus 8. So we would get 22. Now it says 22 is greater than 22. That's not going to work, right? But it would work for anything greater than 22, so that could be 0.00000001, right? Something that's just slightly bigger than 22. All right, so we have D minus 14 is greater than or equal to negative 19. So D minus 14 is greater than or equal to negative 19.
D equals negative 5.
D equals negative 5.
Or D is greater than or
Equal to negative 5. Because what did you do?
You subtract.
You had a minus 14.
Or add to both
Add,
sides.
good. Add 14 to both sides, and you did that in your head and got D is greater than or equal to negative 5. Nicely done. Okay, so we have solve by subtracting. Josh had 19 more songs, added 19 more songs to his MP3 player, making the total number of songs more than 56. How many songs were originally on the player? Solve S, so his songs, plus 19 is greater than his total 56. And then it asks you to graph the solution, so it wants you to create a number line. So you have, what do we have to do to get S by itself? S plus 19 is greater than 56.
Get the minus 19.
Minus 19 from both sides, okay?
Oh, okay, this one's much easier.
So S is greater than 56 minus 19.
All that over theta.
You get 37. Now this one says graph it on a number line. So we draw ourselves a number line, and we can start.
Greater than what? Sorry.
We can start anywhere on a number line. We could say let's start at 35. Then we have 36. Then we have 37. Then we have 38. Then we have 39, and we have 40. Because with the arrows on the end, it goes on into infinity in each direction. Now, this is greater than 37. Do you recall about open dot and closed dots when you graph?
Yep.
Open dot, closed dot. What do those mean? Do you recall that, Micah?
Yeah, on the number line.
On the number line?
O, it's like an O.
O.
And then there's the colored in O.
Okay, colored in O and an O. Which one stands for which? Why would we use the open dot versus?
For the greater and less.
Right, so open dot is for greater than or less than because we can't include that number. And
Because
then
it can keep going.
yes, but the greater than equal to or less than equal to, then we'd close the dot because it can include the number, right? So we would have an open dot on 37, and then which way would we color in the graph? To the left or the right? To the right, because it says S has to be greater than. So we color over I could change colors with my marker, I guess. We color over the number line and we color in the arrow, and it indicates that everything into infinity beyond 37 will answer this question.
Infinity, yeah, beyond.
So we have the temperature T in a swimming pool increased 4 degrees since this morning. The temperature is now less than 81 degrees. What was the temperature this morning? It says solve T plus 4 is less than 81. So what do we got to do to get T by itself?
Oh, actually, I don't know.
Minus 4 on each side,
Well, we could.
and T has to be less than
There's nothing
70.
that says that we can't factor
7?
out a 1 over
Did I do my
cosine
mental math
theta.
right?
So
T
if we
77?
factored
Yep,
out
okay.
a 1 over
And then they want us
cosine
to
theta,
graph it on a number line. So again, you can start, I'd start probably at
if we took out 1 over
75,
cosine theta, then we'd
76,
have 1 over cosine
77,
theta times sine theta over
78,
theta.
79,
Yeah.
and is it gonna be an open dot or a closed
Does
dot?
that
T
make
less
sense?
than 77?
Open dot.
Yeah.
Open dot,
those
because
are
we don't
original
include 77. And are we gonna
fractions.
go to the left or the right? T less than
So our
77.
original fraction, and let's ask JJ
Wait, it's left.
to verify
Left,
this, 'cause
right.
I think I'm doing the math right.
Left.
So our original
Alright.
fraction
All
was,
right, good deal.
the very
Nicely done.
original was,
Start over.
okay.
Okay, so we have
Continuity
5p
of a point.
plus
A
7
function
is
f
greater than
is
6p.
continuous
We want to get
at
variables on
c
both sides, so
if
we
the
say, oh, it'd be
following
simplest to
three
put the
conditions are
5p's
met.
with
First
6p's. So
one
how do we
is
get rid of a
f
positive
of c
5p?
is defined.
Negative.
that
Add a negative or
means,
subtract
you know,
5p,
1
right?
over x at
On
0
both
is
sides, so
not
the
defined.
5p and the negative 5p cancel, and we're left with 7 on the left
Second one
is greater than
limit
6p,
s
and
equals
negative
c
5p
of
is
f
just
of
p,
x
right? So we solved it already, there's nothing more to do.
So it doesn't have
P has to be less than 7. Now, sometimes
Oh, well, it does.
instructors ask
And
you
the
to
third one
rewrite
is
it left to
limit
right.
as
Seven
x
is greater than
approaches
P,
c
or
of
you would
x
read that P is
equals
left than
f.
7. The reason why they say that is so that
So
you can read it left to
they're
right. So you'd
really
say P
just
is
like
less
this.
than 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I do all the time.
P is less than 7.
Really what it
I
So
thought it
then,
would be like, because I thought the problem was
The limit is
5p
x approaches
plus
c.
7
mm-hmm,
F of x
is
equals
greater
f
than or
of c.
equal to
And
6,
f of x
like minus or
f
plus p.
of c
greater
is
than or
defined.
equal to, it's just
Because,
greater than 6p,
you know,
not
if
plus
it
p,
were
6p.
infinity or something, or if there were
6
blow up,
times
that's
p.
not defined.
That's what it was. 5p plus 7 is greater than 6p.
Okay.
All you have to do is
So,
minus 5
does that
and then
make
minus
sense?
5 and
Yep.
you're good.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
We'll do
right.
some examples.
Do we do an open dot or a closed dot on the 7?
So continuity on an open interval.
Open.
And this is an
Open dot,
interval.
right.
Closed intervals, it's
And then
gonna
which
be
way do we color in the
four.
number line, left or right?
To the left, to the
P
left.
less than 7?
This class.
To the left, to the
A
left.
function is continuous on an
No,
open
to the
interval.
right.
A, B,
To the
and
up.
what do you use?
All
to
right,
define
got that
interval?
one. So let's do, we have, it says check your progress, so
It is
9n
continuous at each point
minus
in the
1
interval. So
is less than
basically,
10n.
it's continuous on the interval if it's.
So we want to get all our n's together. Which direction do we want to take them?
Continuous on
To the right.
Put them to the right, all right, so 9n has to be canceled with a
negative infinity to
negative
infinity
9n,
is
both
everywhere
sides.
continuous.
Can
Okay.
you just move it
So
over?
that's pretty
Because basically that's
You
what you're
could, you
doing.
can move it over, but if you show your work, it's just a good habit later for college.
Yeah.
And so you'd have negative 1 is less than n, right? And then if you graph that on a number line,
Every point on the interval.
it's actually n is greater than negative 1, right?
There's a couple ways
So we would
that
have negative
functions can
1.
be discontinuous. Um,
We would put an open or closed dot
Open dot.
function
Open dot.
To the right.
to the right.
Sorry.
Color it in. There we go.
Isn't it pretty, JJ?
It's very pretty. Good job.